where if you could like go anywhere in the world right now, where would you want to go?
South Africa.
Why South Africa?
I heard beautiful stories of it. The weather is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of hospitality.
Yeah. Where right now, where's the coolest location that Woby has an integration at?
It's Aruba.
Really? Aruba?
So maybe I need to go there.
I'll say Aruba, Bahama. So, I mean, there's a whole Beach Boy song with that. Aruba. Yeah. Okay. So Aruba. Hey, y'all. How we doing? We are back for another episode of Hospitable. So Hospitable is a podcast that explores how to make hospitality more human through technology. And today's guest is actually a company called Woby, which provides seamless integrations as well. In fact, Woby is part of the Omniboost incubator program, which is really cool. And we are recording live on location in Zealand, in Terneuzen.
Of all places.
At the Omniboost headquarters. And my guest is the founder and CEO of Woby, Ruud Hontele.
Yes, you pronounce it well.
I'm getting better at these pronunciations. So Ruud, tell me a little bit about Woby. What is Woby in your words?
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation. Woby, in my words, actually it's standing for Welcome, Order by Yourself. And we are specializing in the hotel industry. So you said seamless integrations isn't part of the reason why we can help hotels being able to deliver a self-ordering web app where the guest really has a seamless experience. And the operational side from the hotel perspective also really save money and time.
That's awesome. And so why did you get into this space? Like what intrigued you about hospitality? What made you want to build a company for the hospitality space specifically?
I think it's not quite a rare decision that it needs to be the hospitality. The idea was born in Roosendaal, where I'm coming from, and I was sitting with friends there, and we want to order a beer. Only the waiter didn't see us, and it was not really busy or something. I thought they losing revenue and we want to drink our drink. So that's why the idea was born. And I have an iPhone 3 in that time. And so
this was a long time ago. I mean, if you're using an iPhone 3, that's taking us backdated a little bit. But it always seems that great ideas happen over a beer. Or in this case, not over a beer because you didn't get a beer.
The first round, the second round is.
So what is your goal with Woby? What does the future look like for Woby, and how do you see yourself being a player?
Back to when the idea was born, I was thinking about the Simon Sinek, his book Everything Starts with a Why, and after a long thinking about that. The why of Woby is made to serve you. My willingness to serve people is not only to our customers, but also to the guests of the hotel industry. And sorry, what was the question?
That's kind of why Woby, but where do you see yourself as a player in this space? Like, what do you want to accomplish in this space because of your why?
To dominating the world with self-ordering software, especially for hotels.
Yeah.
To help them.
And why hotels? Why is that a space and a place that you feel this technology is needed?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good question. As I said, the idea started in 2017 and we did a lot of pivots, different segments, delivery, takeaway, or terraces, or restaurants. And what we see is that with our tech stack and operational knowledge, we can help hotels the best way with our tech. And also I like the ambience when I'm at the customer. So yeah,
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean, it makes sense too, because there's a lot of different spaces and places where this can be needed, but also thinking about a restaurant. I mean, now this is pre-COVID that you thought of this, right? Post-COVID, a lot of restaurants have QR codes,
Yeah,
but there's still the need for a waiter or a waitress, somebody to serve you,
sure.
right? And be
Yes,
hospitable. And same thing in the hotel space, but I think it's a bit more unique because when you go into a hotel, you're very connected, right? When you go down to sit down to dinner or sit down for a lunch, you sometimes want that feeling of being waited on versus at a hotel, you're already connecting very much to checking in and all these things. And so being able to just leverage your phone and also, sometimes it's nice just to like charge it to the room and pay it all at once later versus like, pull your credit card out, etc. So
yeah, yeah.
I see this as a really kind of natural space from a travel experience perspective. And so I think that's really cool. So, I asked kind of a free question,
Uh,
one of the coolest places that Woby is integrated at, and you said Aruba,
yes.
which is a really awesome, beautiful island. And then I started singing Beach Boys, and I realized I can't sing, so we'll cut out me trying to sing Beach Boys.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How did you or they find you in order to make this successful? And talk about it as a case study. Why did they choose Woby, and what was their need that you were filling?
Oh, I love to answer this question because they found us via a partner of us. So Woby is on the marketplace of their POS system, and the tool they using that time before they implementing Woby, the tool didn't have the integration with the property management system. It only had an integration with the point of sale. And we have a customer a few miles from that customer, and who really loved Woby. So he said, "You need to go to that hotel." So it was word of mouth, and they found us via the marketplace as well from the POS. And what we do for them and others can't do is integrate the POS and PMS simultaneously at the same time. So we can validate the if the guest is checked in, and only when the no post is not indicated, um, the guests have the possibility to order and charge the room directly. So they only have to pay when they are checking out, and not what you said every time to re-enter this credit card details.
And how does that? So one, I like sharing this that in a very digital world, word of mouth still makes a big difference, and being able to have that validation, be able to have somebody say, "Hey, you should try these guys out, or check these people out, check this company out," and that makes a big difference. And so providing that level of hospitality to them, that level of experience that they're willing to refer you is I think one of the greatest things that can happen. And so when you think about this whole experience, what does this do for the guest experience? Putting yourself in the guest shoes, when they walk into a hotel and they go and they spend, whether it's business, whether it's leisure, or whether it's the blended leisure type of experience, they're not going to know that Woby necessarily is the tool that's being used. But how
No.
does it contribute? How does it contribute to the guest experience, and what do you hope it contributes to the guest experience for a property that uses Woby?
Um, I think the most important one is that uh, when the guest has booked his travel online, mostly they get a pre-arrival email, and that's where the guest journey starts. So we put in a link in the pre-arrival email, and the guests see all the facilities of the hotels. And no, the hotels or the guests don't see that Woby is the tool behind what they are using, but they um, for the experience, it is really important to have a seamless flow from the different stages from pre-arrival, in-stay, and post-stay. So they're using the same web app where they order room service with or book a reservation. Actually, that hotel in Aruba, you can make a reservation for Palapa. It's a nice a place on the beach, and if you are on the Palapa, you can order your food and drinks with Woby. So they have exact the same web app for arrival and during the in-house stage. So and what I want to accomplish in the future for to deliver more guest experience is add features like streaming to your hotel TV and make some romantic scenes or
Yeah.
to cover the full guest experience.
Yeah. So really, Woby's power is that it helps just seamlessly make that experience, because it is tough, right? And you go in and you got an app for this, you got an app for that, you got to scan this QR code, you scan that QR code, you got to use Apple Pay, or if you don't have Apple Pay, enter your credit card details. So being able to streamline that just makes that stay. It's one less thing to think about when you're, especially in a beautiful like location like Aruba.
Yeah.
One less thing that you have to think about, and not always do you want to carry your wallet, especially if you're somewhere tropical. Or if you're going to a spa day, sometimes you don't want to carry that wallet. So having a web app where you can easily do like an Apple Pay, charge it to your room, take care of that experience. It's one less thing to forget or lose. And me personally, like I'm prone to losing stuff, especially on vacation. And especially I'm on a vacation where I'm, in a tropical location, but even business wise,
that's true. Yes. Yeah.
It makes that experience that much more memorable. It's one less thing to have to worry about. And that I think is really important. And we talk about, this podcast is all about making hospitality more human through technology, right? And by using Woby and the technology, it allows humans to have better experiences at these locations. And it's one less thing to think about, one less thing to lose. Because I can't tell you, I know a lot of people that, when they go out, they just take like their credit card and their ID and they lose it somewhere. And nothing is worse than being on vacation, losing an ID and a credit card.
Yeah, you don't need to have that.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful part of the experience. So it's exciting. So when we think about Woby, Woby is part of the Omniboost incubator program. How did you and Case meet, or how did that? For those that don't know, Omniboost is a big supporter of Woby. We have this program and this partnership. So how did that come about? How did you meet Case? How did you team up to be a part of this incubator system?
It went via our angel investor. He already did or still do business with Case, and it was meant to be that I met Case because when the angel investor was investing in Woby, and he heard what Woby is doing for the hotel industry, and he also knows what Case is doing for the hotel industry. It's the perfect match to what you said, to get more and more better guest experiences, and of all there are a lot of tools. What you said about earlier, there are a way. Some hotels need to have 4 or 5 tools, and they don't want to have another tool in the tech stack. So with Omniboost, we can integrate with the existing system. So for the hotels, it feels like they don't have another tool in the tech stack. It's streamlined a lot in the operational efficiency because of that. It's not only the guest perspective, but the operational perspective as well.
Yeah, I think that's really impactful, right? And I always say this, and people who listen to this podcast or listen to me talk about Omniboost, is 9 times out of 10, if you walk into any like hotel or restaurant or partner of ours, they don't probably know that Omniboost is being activated, and that to us is the sign that we're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
We're creating this, because if you actually look, and it's actually something you sent me when we first met, of the marketplace of the hospitality industry and how many different tech stacks for PMS, for POS, for OTAs, for this, for that. I mean, there's so many different things.
Yeah.
The ability to simplify that. And I think that's it's really easy in a digital age to have tech overload, having too many things. And while it's great, when you start stacking all these things on top of each other, you lose efficiencies or you lose data flow, you lose connectivity. And so being able to seamlessly integrate, I think, is kind of a win-win. And I know that's why Omniboost and Woby makes sense. You know, and you're here in the office, you come here usually like once or twice a week. What does it mean for you to be able to team up with Omniboost and be in this ecosystem and be around the team here? How does that help Woby and yourself grow?
First, I want to say about that is the ambience, the spirit. I know Case told me a lot of his people and the teams of Omniboost are they have a high willingness of serving guests or customers, and that's also with new people. So they help when I have a question. The willingness to help me is high, and you recognize that in the office. So that's really nice. What was the second question?
Yeah, just the second question is really around how does that help you personally, or what?
Yes.
You know, so you get the questions and the business, but how for as a founder who's growing a company to be around another high energetic founder, to be around this team where, you know, willingness to serve is part of our core DNA. How does that help you level up your game as a founder, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So Woby is more in the startup phase, and Omniboost in the scale up phase. So I have some mentors. Actually, I'm looking at one, and also Case helped me with the faults they make in the past, so I don't need to make the same faults. And that saved a lot of money and time for me as well.
Yeah, getting to learn lessons or avoid hard lessons. And sometimes the hard lesson needs to be learned, but being able to have mentors and yeah, we get to sit down and talk a lot about
very valuable.
Yeah, the sales and the marketing and the brand and commercially how to grow and scale and what traps to avoid, what are the right tools to use. And I think that is super impactful. And when you're able to team up, and I think it's really important for the industry as we look at creating a more hospitable place when we travel, because travel's tough. When you travel somewhere, you got to book the flights, and you know, could have a bad flight experience. You could have bad weather. You never know what's going to happen. And traveling by nature, you tend to travel, especially for vacation, to relax. And sometimes it doesn't always happen. So if we can help create better experiences and one less thing that a customer has to think about, I think we win. And when we do that together as an industry, and we look at simplifying and collaborating and cross-pollinating, that to me makes sense. And that's why I think this makes sense to have the Omniboost incubator program and having companies like Woby involved in it, because it just creates some symbiotic integrations and flow of data that really helps the whole industry.
Yes, of course.
At the end of the day, we want to make sure that the hotels and restaurants provide top class service to those that are there, to those that they serve. And this is where that willingness to serve goes down the line, because at the end of the day, it's about human connection. It's about the experience that you get to have, and the fact that you leave whatever experience, business, work, travel, leisure, family, solo, that you come home, come back to wherever you live and be like, that was a good trip. Like, I enjoyed that. It was an experience, a sentient memory that we can remember as a positive one.
And you really need to go there because you can do this or experience that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, some of our best memories are those that we experience, right? And you can experience a lot of things digitally, but sometimes you just have to experience in person. If you're lucky enough to do those things, and when you're there and you want to experience those things, you want it to be seamless. You want it to be about the experience of the thing you're doing, not about something that happens technically that can ruin the whole trip. So it's quite, people don't realize how big of a deal that can be.
Yeah. And also I believe in the choice of freedom, or the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
Because some, especially generations before the Y and the Z and the millennials, they all want to order by themselves. But the older generations give them the choice. So when they don't want to use the smartphone, there is enough staff capacity to help them in the way they want.
Yeah, and I think even as we go to a more digital world, and the fact that I can do everything from my phone, even if I can do everything from my phone, I still want that human element. I still want the ability to talk to somebody, to have help with something. So providing also the hotels and restaurant staffs with the tools that they can be more in the moment and taking care of their customer and doing what their job, it just makes everybody much more effective and efficient, and you create those experiences. So I love that.
Yeah.
And even as we get more in a digitally hyper-connected world, we still need that human touch. And so if we can provide those human touch points meaningfully, it just makes the whole experience better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last question. What is as we head into 2024, what does success and growth look like for Woby? What do you hope to accomplish next year?
In numbers or in
just
finance?
Yeah, not in numbers. I would say more in just like the impact. Like, what do you hope? Is it a new product? Is it a new region? Is it rolling out? Like, what do you hope to accomplish next year as a business going into 2024?
I'm hoping to accomplish to be in as much as marketplaces as possible for POS and PMS both, because in that way the step for a hotel is really low to get started with Woby. And when they get started with Woby, the guest has a nicer experience, and the people, the staff, have more time to do what they like to do. And how much hotels, how more hotels, how better.
Yeah, I love that. And it's exciting to see what could happen next year in terms of being able to continue to spread the word about Woby, continue to create more experiences and get more hotels on board. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen in 2024. I know you've got a couple of programs that you're looking at getting into, and accelerators, et cetera, that you can learn to grow and also travel and experience. So I'm excited to see what happens for you as you head into 2024.
Yes, exactly.
So if anyone out there listening wants to get in touch with you, Ruud, how would they get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach out and connect with you and Woby?
I think the best way, if they have LinkedIn, connect with me via LinkedIn, and let's chat via there. And or you can go to our website, mywoby.com, and you will find the contact details there as well.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to link, Ruud, your LinkedIn and mywoby.com will be linked in the show notes. So if you're interested, open the show notes. You should be able to easily navigate to his LinkedIn or to the website. So we'll make that all happen for you, Ruud. I appreciate you coming on, Ruud. And for those out there listening, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hospitable. Be a tier 1, subscribe right now, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether that's on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, wherever you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe, become a tier 1, and get involved. And if you know of anybody that should be on the show, you have questions for the show, let us know. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Ruud, for coming on.
You're welcome. And on Friday, every Friday, there's beer here in Terneuzen.
That is true. If you're ever in the office here in Terneuzen, we have plenty of beer all the time on Fridays. So come check it out. That is it for another episode of Hospitable. Until next time, stay well.
Hey!